Hello, good day. We are the group 11 and our topic is about organizational barriers to diversity in the workplace. So by the end of this lesson, we should be able to identify common organizational barriers to workplace diversity, understand how these barriers affect employees and organizational performance, recognize the importance of promoting inclusivity in the workplace, and suggest ways to overcome these barriers for more inclusive environment. To begin, diversity in the workplace means having employees who comes from different backgrounds, cultures, genders, ages, and experiences. A diverse workplace allows people to share new ideas, understand different perspectives, and build a more inclusive environment. However, even if many companies aim for diversity, there are still barriers that prevent true inclusion and equality. So let's explore the main organizational barriers to diversity. The first barrier is bias recruitment and selections. This happens when hiring decisions are influenced by favoritism or personal preferences. For example, choosing someone because of their age, gender, race, or background instead of their actual skills and qualifications. And the second barrier is stereotyping and prejudice. This means forming unfair assumptions about a person's abilities or behavior just because of where they come from or who they are. For example, assuming that a woman is not suited for leadership or believing that someone in a certain culture cannot perform well. So, these stereotypes can harm people's confidence and prevent them from growing in their careers.
Next is lack of inclusive policies. If a company doesn't have a clear rules about diversity and discrimination, unfair treatment can go unnoticed without proper training or policies. Employees may not even realize when something is biased or harmful. So imagine you're working in a hotel where guests makes inappropriate comments about your accent or your skin tone, but your supervisor just shrugged it off, saying it was not a big deal, and you cannot do anything about it since there's no formal way to report it. So people from marginalized groups, whether by race, gender, religion, or identity, starts feeling invisible. They may stop speaking up, lose motivation, or leave the job entirely. So this hurts not just the individual but the whole team's moral and reputation. So next is poor communication and cultural misunderstanding. So people from different cultures communicate differently. And if we are not aware of these differences, we might misunderstand each other and cause conflict. So this happens a lot in tourism and hospitality industry where guests and staff come from many backgrounds. For example, a Filipino staff member smiles politely while being corrected, but the foreign manager thinks that they are not taking the feedback seriously. Or a Korean guest doesn't tip and the server feels insulted without knowing tipping isn't part of their culture. Misunderstanding between cultures can cause awkward moments, frustrations, or even arguments. This hurts teamwork and the guests might feel disrespected. It's not about being rude, it's about not knowing how others communicate differently. So next slide. Resistance to change. Some people resist diversity efforts because they are afraid of change or feel threatened by new ideas. They might think that inclusion means giving up traditions or lowering standards when in fact it means making space for everyone to thrive. So, for example, a hotel manager refuses to let the staff wear hijabs or natural hairstyles like afros or braids, calling them unprofessional. So these rules makes the Muslim and the black staff feel excluded or judged. And over time, they might lose motivation or leave the job entirely.
So for the sixth one is we have limited opportunities for advancement. So this barrier refers to the unequal access to promotions or leadership roles within an organization. Often certain groups such as women, ethnic minorities, or people with disabilities find it harder to advance in their careers even if they have the same qualities and experiences as others. So for example, in some workplaces, leadership positions are dominated by one gender or ethnicity, leaving others underrepresented in decision-making roles, making advancement seem based on identity rather than their skills or performances. So for the last one is we have inadequate diversity training. So another major barrier is the lack of proper education and training about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So without training, employees may not understand how to interact respectfully with their colleagues from different culture, religion, or social backgrounds. So for instance, some organizations do not offer proper training about diversity or inclusive communication, which means employees might unintentionally offend others or make unfair assumptions without realizing it. So, to address these barriers, organizations need first, strong leadership commitment. Leaders must actively model inclusive behavior and set clear expectations about equality. So, when leaders demonstrate fairness and empathy, they encourage others to do the same thing, creating a culture of inclusion. The second one is inclusive policies and training. So organizations should implement policies that promote equal opportunities in hiring, promotion, and decision making. Regular diversity training can help employees recognize unconscious biases and understand cultural differences. So for the third one is we have open communication and respect. So establishing a culture of openness encourages employees to share their ideas, opinions, and concerns without the fear of judgment or discrimination. So when people feel heard and respected, the collaboration improves, conflicts are reduced, and innovation thrives. So, in conclusion, addressing these organizational barriers to diversity is essential for a healthy, productive, and innovative workplace. Promoting equality and respect at all levels strengthens teamwork, builds trust, and enhances creativity.